together, and we'll start the walk nice and early in the morning. Once we get to the top, it's just a really good feeling to watch the sunrise and just talk about life. The view's just absolutely amazing. The beach, all the different houses, the university. Watching all that happen, it kind of gives you a perspective of everything, of how the world works.
Degree is definitely not a piece of paper, it's a whole experience. Obviously educational aspects and just really setting you up for life. Allowing you to meet a variety of people, really pushing your limits, boundaries, and pushing your perspectives and what you think about the world.
I'm developing a ocean-faring vessel wave-induced energy conversion device. It will store the energy of the boat as it rolls along a wave.
We've been fortunate at the University of Wollongong to be able to build a research group with global credibility. What's brought them here are these incredible world-class facilities that we've created over the last few years. We have the ability in this integrated research facility to undertake very fundamental research and new discoveries. We've developed three-dimensional printers that can extrude and create three-dimensional scaffolds. We've even developed inks that will facilitate the printing of living cells for use in the muscle and nerve regeneration programs.
It's made me more equipped when I go out into real life. You actually know what's going on, you know how things work now, you know what's about to come at you. You're not going to just be put in the deep end.
I've seen it happen so many times, hundreds of times in my 20-odd years, and I never get bored watching that exciting process, seeing young people transform themselves into individuals that are really willing to take on big challenges, and they're capable of doing it.
It's pushed my limits in terms of the way I perceive things. In classes we do group work, and you hear so many different viewpoints and you go, oh, okay, it's really interesting. And I would never have thought like that. And it just really pushes you to become a lot more open-minded.
We're doing things here at UOW that are changing the world. So don't think that you can't change the world. But that requires a lot of hard work. It requires passion, and it requires commitment, and it requires that passion and commitment sometimes over very sustained periods. So you must be a very determined person with that passion and commitment, and you can make a difference.
Hi guys, welcome to the Future Finder live chat. My name's Darren and this is my colleague Alex, and we're both admissions advisors here at the University of Wollongong. So for today, if you have any questions, just pop them down into the box below. You can log in using your Facebook or your Twitter, and if you're logging in as a guest, just make sure you put a name for us to use so that we can address you personally when you have any questions. So just make sure you answer anything. There's no silly questions and we're here to help you guys out. So I guess I'll kick it off. So we had a question a bit earlier from Caitlin, and she asked whether she should base some of her subject selections for year 11 on the strengths or weaknesses of the subject departments at your school. What we would suggest is that you always choose subjects that you're interested in and that you personally have a strength in, because you're going to perform better in subjects that you enjoy and you're going to perform better in subjects that you have an interest in. So always pick your subjects based on your own personal interest rather than any other kind of outside factor, because they're the ones you'll perform best in and it'll give you the best chance in the HSC.
Okay, and then we also had a question from Nicole who asked, when do you have to apply to get into UOW for 2015 courses? So I imagine some of you are probably in year 12 at the moment, so it's usually the second Friday of September, so I think it was the 27th of last year, but be sure to check back when the time rolls around.
And just for some of you who may not be familiar, when you're applying to courses to the University of Wollongong while you're in year 12, you do so through the University Admissions Centre, and so they have their own cut-off dates for when you need to apply. So just check on their website. It's www.uac.edu.au. So now we'll move on, and we've got another question from Laura. Does anyone know what the ATAR cutoff is for social work next year? So we don't know the ATAR cutoff yet for social work. The reason being is because ATAR cutoffs are set for, I'll maybe move back to the start and say the University of Wollongong is probably offering a Bachelor of Social Work next year. It's just in the final stages of approval and it looks like it's going ahead. So because the course hasn't been offered before, there is no advertised ATAR cutoff yet, because the ATAR cutoff is set based on what the previous year's enrolment was and what the minimum mark required was to get in. So at this stage, there's no ATAR cutoff yet, but the best thing to do is just submit your application, put it as one of your preferences on UAC if you are interested in it, and then from then on you'll know what the ATAR cutoff is after it happens next year.
Okay, so we also had a question from Edward, who's asked, what subjects do you suggest I do if I want to study an engineering degree? So it's sort of going on from what Darren said a little bit earlier about studying the subjects that most interest you and are likely to, give you the best results. But you'd be looking to study physics, primarily, and mathematics. They're not prerequisites necessarily, but they're going to be heavily, involved in the degree afterwards, so it'll give you an edge.
Awesome. So we have another one from James. So I'm keen on becoming a lawyer. Any thoughts on that? So definitely, if you're looking to become a lawyer, I would recommend at least advanced English as a minimum. I actually studied law here at the University of Wollongong, so advanced English is probably the best subject for you to do. There is a lot of writing and a lot of interpreting text while you're doing law. It's not necessary for you to do legal studies, but if you do have interest in becoming a lawyer, I definitely suggest you have a look at it. And if you do it and you're interested in it, then it may help you later on to decide that yes, that's definitely what you want to do when you come to university.
So similarly, Z has asked, what subjects do you recommend if I want to study accounting? So same as before, study according to your strengths, but for accounting you'd obviously be wanting to do commerce-based subject if they're available at your school.
And definitely maths. So accounting does involve maths, so make sure you do. We would always recommend, if you're doing anything that requires maths at university, to try advanced mathematics in year 12 as a minimum, or year 11 and 12 as a minimum. So the next question is from Ashley. Does UOW offer osteopathy? No, we don't offer osteopathy at the moment, and I'm not sure whether we will in the future. I guess the best thing for you to do, if you're looking at specific courses and you're not sure whether or not a university offers them, our university has a course finder, so you can jump on there off our homepage and do a keyword search and see whether or not we offer a degree or a degree in a similar field. If not, the best thing you can do is go onto the UAC website, so the University Admissions Centre website. It's just uac.edu.au. They have a great search engine with all of the courses offered at universities throughout New South Wales, and you'll be able to search, osteopathy and any other keyword that you have, and have a look at what universities do offer it.
Okay, so Edward's also asked, is there anywhere I can find out what subjects are recommended, though, like a guidebook? Yes, we do have the Year 10 Future Finder, which you can get in PDF off the UOW website, and it gives you a guide based on which degrees you're interested in.
Awesome. So Caitlin R says, I chose my year 11 subjects next term. I'm choosing my year 11 subjects next term, and I'm thinking of doing advanced English. That's awesome. Advanced English is recommended for a lot of programs, particularly ones that are intensive with essays and reading textbooks and things like that. So a lot of the arts degree subjects, or subjects offered by the law, Faculty of Law, Humanities and the Arts. So while it's not a requirement or subject for any of the degrees, it is recommended, particularly also if you want to go into journalism or any fields like that.
Okay, so with Caitlin's second question, she sort of said that I'm not good at maths, but should I do general math just in case? That's really up to you, again playing to your strengths, but I would recommend studying the subjects that are most pertinent to the degree that you're wanting to do afterwards. So if you're not going to go into maths or science, maybe have a think about that and see which is most appropriate.
Hey Becca, you just said my sister just did her HSC last year and went to UOW, but she got in off bonus points. Do I get those? It's great to hear she went to UOW, and we hope she's having a good time here. Bonus points are available to students, so it may be a little bit different when you come into year 12, but I can tell you how it worked last year and how it's going to work this year. Students can get up to 6 bonus points to come to UOW, 3 if they're a regional or rural student or from our drawing area. and 3 if they do well in subjects that correspond to the degree that they want to get into here at university. So it's definitely possible that you may get bonus points to come to UOW. You don't need to do anything. They're added automatically when you apply to the university through the University Admissions Centre. So you don't need to do anything else. You just kind of make your application, you sit back and relax, and the bonus points are added for you.
Okay, so Edward's asked, is that the guide? This is based on his previous question about the subject selection guide, and he's asking, is that the one that we sent a link to in the email yesterday? Yes, that's absolutely right. That is the one that you're going to need to look at.
Okay, and Abraham's asked, what degree should I apply for? I'm interested in acting and science. So you would have a look at seeing if there's any double degree combinations between creative arts and science. I'm not entirely certain at this stage whether or not there is, but if you're curious, you should jump on our course finder on the UOW website. So the link's right there on the homepage. There's a little search bar you can see kind of halfway down, and you can type in creative arts and science. What we do offer is we definitely offer a Bachelor of Creative Arts in Theatre, and we also offer a Bachelor of Performance. So we have 2 acting degrees here at the university, and we also have a range of science degrees with a range of majors from the traditional biology, physics and chemistry to also a range of others such as geology, geography, and environmental science or marine science as well. To see if they're in a double degree combination, jump onto our course finder and you'll be able to find it there. So we also got a question from Facebook that Alex is going to answer just over here.
Okay, so how do they make the ATAR for each course at UOW was the question. Again, as Darren kind of alluded to before, it's a precedent that's set each year. So basically the previous year's entry cutoff is the one that we're looking at now, which is why we advertise it as a guide. It can shift up or down. Normally we wouldn't expect it to be too dramatic, so it's pretty accurate as a guide.
So I guess an ATAR you can kind of think of as a score of how popular or competitive it was to get into a particular degree for that year. So the ATARs that you look onto our website now are what you needed to get into the course for 2014. So they could go up and down for 2015, or even when you guys are looking at getting into university for the 2017 intake. So we had a question from Nicole Emily Ascanio. So do you apply for scholarships through UAC as well? What scholarships are available? There are some scholarships available through UAC that you can apply for. I would definitely have a look at their website for any that are available and any that might fit your circumstances. But if you want to apply for scholarships specifically to the University of Wollongong, we definitely have those. We have a great scholarships website online where you can kind of type in your information and it will come up with all the scholarships that you may be eligible for and also applications for those. Generally speaking, if you're looking at applying, scholarships will close on the 30th of October every year for students starting in the next year's intake. So you can even jump on our website now and have a look at any that are still open if you're looking at studying anytime in the close future, or just having a look at what was available in the past.
Okay, there's a question specifically for you, I think.
Hi, Abraham. What's the difference between a degree in performance and in theatre? They're a little bit different in terms of what elective subjects are available. The core of it remains the same, but the Bachelor of Performance, you do a bit larger range of subjects because it's not just to do with theatre performance or acting, it encompasses a wider range of performance subjects. The Bachelor of Creative Arts in Theatre has a major in theatre which gives you a wider range of electives because you're doing it under a creative arts degree. So you can take electives from the other subjects offered in creative arts. So things like visual arts, graphic design, and there's a couple of others like music as well. So you can give a broader scope if you do the Bachelor of Creative Arts Theatre, but if you're set on performance and you want a wider range of performance, not just acting, then the Bachelor of Performance would probably be right for you. But you can check those out on our course finder as well because they have a course structure that's listed, so you can have a look exactly what the subjects look like for this year and compare the 2 degrees.
Okay, and Becca's got a really interesting question about can you change your HSC subjects if they're not working for you. What you could do, for instance, is if you're taking more than the minimum 10 units to be eligible to receive an ATAR, you could potentially drop some if you're not doing particularly well during the year and you think it's going to drag your ATAR down, but you just need to make sure that you're still doing enough to make you eligible to receive an ATAR.
And Caitlin has a really interesting question, and I'm going to have to make a few assumptions there, Caitlin. So if you have any further information to add, I might be able to answer it more specifically. And she asked, would a school-based apprenticeship be useful for getting a course I want in uni? So the first thing to realise, I guess, is that when you're in year 11 and year 12 and you're looking at getting into uni, it's based on your ATAR. So it'll be whether or not that school-based apprenticeship counts towards the calculation of your ATAR. It can be useful in providing you with other skills that you will use while you're at university and kind of helping you figure out what you want to do while you're here. I guess another thing to keep in mind is that students can get into university directly from TAFE. However, they can't be any trade certificates. It has to be a certificate 4 or higher that's not a trade. Caitlin, while it may assist you in some way, the most useful thing to get into university when you're in year 11 and 12 at this stage is the ATAR. So it'll matter whether or not it counts towards the calculation of your ATAR. But I would definitely say if you have an interest in it and it's definitely somewhere you're looking at going in the future, then definitely keep it up because it will benefit you in the long run.
Okay, and Emily's asked, do you know what the ATAR cutoff for law is? Again, based on the previous year, I think it was 92
yes.
from memory, yeah.
Yeah, and it could go up and down. It was 90 the previous year and it went up to ATAR points this year. So it's likely they don't change too much, but it is possible to change by the time you get to coming to university. So Abraham has another question. Do you receive bonus points for Duke of Edinburgh or AMEB exams? Here at the University of Wollongong, you don't get bonus points for those things. So the bonus points, like I said before, you can get a maximum of 6. You get 3 of them if you go to a school within our drawing area or within a regional or rural Australia. And you can look at that list from our Year 12 students website. If you go in there and have a look at the HSC students, it does have information on those bonus points. And you can also get 3 bonus points if you do well in subjects that relate directly to the degree you want to get into at university. So unfortunately at this stage you don't get bonus points for those, but you definitely get a range of other bonus points for the school you go to and being the marks you get in the HSC. So you can go onto our Year 12 website and have a look at those if you want more information.
Okay, so Ashley's got one of the more popular questions, I guess you could say, comes up a lot. Could you please explain scaling in the HSCs? So basically, the point of the ATAR, it's designed to be a good predictor of university performance. It's the best sort of thing that they can base it on. So basically, it's a number between 0 and 99.95. It's given as a ranking. It's essentially what they do is they take the raw marks from your subject and then compare it against the other students and basically give you a rank. So for instance, if you get an ATAR of 70, you're essentially in the 30th percentile of the state.
Awesome. If you have any more questions like that, definitely put them in the box below. Jessica's asked, I'm thinking of doing something in medicine after school. What subjects are recommended for me to do in the senior years? So definitely something science-based, because a lot of medicine will have chemistry-based subjects. And also possibly biology. But keep in mind that a lot of the subjects or a lot of the courses offered at university in the medicine field will only have recommended science. So it's recommended that you do chemistry or biology, however, it's not a requirement. And if you're looking at doing medicine at the University of Wollongong, we have a Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery, but it's a postgraduate degree. So you have to do a 3-year bachelor's degree first, and it can be in any field. So you could do a Bachelor of Arts in English Literature, or you could do a Bachelor of Science in Medical Science, and still then after you graduate apply to get into our Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery program. So I guess still the best thing for you to do if you have an interest in medicine, it's likely that a basis in chemistry will help you when you come to university, but there are bridging courses if you don't do chemistry or other related subjects. So the best thing for you to do is to do the best you can in your HSC and pick the subjects that are of interest to you.
Okay, so Edward's got another question. He says, my twin sister wants to do creative arts. Do they take into account a portfolio as well as subject results? Well, no. They used to have a portfolio in previous years alongside the ATAR that they used to select students on the basis of, but now they're just going straight off the ATAR. So they also said, is she good at singing, would she do an audition? Yes, we still do have an audition process for the Bachelor of Performance, so you just need to make sure that you keep up to date when those are going to roll around in the year.
Okay, so we're just going to take a 3-minute break and then we'll be back, so we'll only be a second, and there'll be a video featuring one of our grads for you to watch.
Safari started, we visited an elephant orphanage. I had an interview with the head keeper, and then he said, okay, I'm going to take you somewhere, and I walk into this clearing and there are baby elephants everywhere. and they're with their keepers, and it was playtime, it was afternoon playtime, so I spent 45 minutes hanging out with these elephants, patting them and climbing all over them, and they were stepping on my toes, and it was absolutely amazing. The job obviously sounds really, really glamorous, and there are times where I just have to pinch myself, but it's a lot of hard work, and I don't say that, flippantly. For that 12 hours during the day, you're trying to think of the story, you're taking as many photos as you can, you're interviewing people. It's exhausting. I would never have forecast that I would have been sitting here and doing this role. For a lot of graduates, Osgeo would be the pinnacle of where they could work, so I'm not sure what's better than this.
Hi guys, I hope you liked the video. So we had a question from Doris, and make sure if you do have any questions, anything at all that you want help with, you can put it in the question box and we'll help answer it. So Doris asked, I'm interested in commerce, what subject should I pick? So like we've said before for a couple of the other answers, there's only recommended subjects for the Bachelor of Commerce. So it's recommended that you do something like business studies because you'll have an interest in it and be able to do it later on. And also something maths based as well, because a lot of the commerce degrees do have a maths basis. But like we've said before, they're only recommended subjects, so they're not required. So if you don't do them, you can still gain admission into the course, but you may want to do a bridging course beforehand in maths or something like that.
Yep. Okay, so Doris has also asked, can my mum ask you guys questions on the phone? Absolutely, she can. There are admissions advisors Monday to Friday 9 till 5 to answer any questions she might have on 1300 367 869.
And we've also got a question from our Facebook. So someone wants to know whether or not they can come down and visit the university and what they can do to talk to people here about our courses. So we run campus tours every Friday at 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. and you can make those bookings online through our events page, and there's a link to that on the Year 12 page, and on the Future Finder page you can get to it from there as well. We run it during the school holidays, and we run it every Friday except for public holidays, so the one coming up for Good Friday won't be on. So definitely come down to the university if you want to check out our campus. A current student and one of our school ambassadors will come and take you around and to show you the campus. And you can also reach us at any time here at Uni Advice through email at uniadvice@uow.edu.au or by calling us, or off Facebook as well. And I think if you click the UOW Future, you might be able to get to our Facebook page too.
Sure. Okay, so Jan has got a question. I'm interested in physiotherapy. What subject should I choose for Year 11, Year 12? For physio, you'd sort of be looking at either the 4-year Bachelor of Exercise Science and Rehab degree or the 3-year Bachelor of Science with a major in Exercise Science. For those, again, pick the subjects that you're strongest at, but for physio in particular, you're going to be looking at potentially undertaking chemistry because there's going to be a heavy basis of that. They're going to assume a lot of background once you get here. So.
Hi Edward. Edward's asked, can the uni send people out like current students to come and speak to us at school? They definitely can. What I would advise is to go and speak to your careers advisor at your school and tell them to get into touch with the University of Wollongong, and we can send out current students to talk to you about the different degrees that we offer here and the different entryways into university. So just contact your careers advisor and they can give us a call.
Okay, so Brad Thompson's asked, I'm not too good at English, but very good at maths. Why do they make me take English? That is a good one. In the past, I think they have made maths mandatory as well, but they since dropped that. They just require you to do 2 units now, and that's a mandatory part of being eligible for an ATAR, and they calculate that as part of it. I'm really not too sure of the rationale behind that, but that's sort of what the Board of Studies have decided. So.
And even if you're not good at English, the skills you'll learn in the class will be useful at university. No matter what degree you do, there will be some sort of requirement for you to write essays and things like that. So take as much information as you can from your English class and try your best.
Yeah.
So we've got another question from Caitlin. What would environmental science be good for if I choose it in year 11 and 12? I'm stuck between choosing environmental or biology. So Caitlin, if you mean environmental science as a subject at school, or biology as a subject at school, it'll be good in the sense that it'll give you a basis in science, regardless of what you want to do after year 12. I guess the way for you to pick it is look at what your interests are, what you think you'll perform best in, whether or not it counts towards the calculation of your ATAR. So just remember, not all subjects will count towards the calculation of your ATAR, but your school will be able to help you out with determining whether or not it will. And I guess the best thing to do is kind of pick, if you want to do environmental science here at university, it will be a lot of the things you'll do environmental science at high school on a bigger level, but there will also be some biology in that as well. So I guess the best thing to do is look at what the subjects look like at your school and pick the one you think interests you the most and that you'll be able to do best at.
Yep, so Edward's saying that he's going to be at the Illawarra Careers Market in May. With school, will we be there? Of course we will, yes.
Yes. And Ashley's asked, considering that osteopathy is similar to physiotherapy, would you recommend the same subjects? We offer a Bachelor of Exercise Science in rehabilitation, which you can then go to do a Master of Clinical Exercise Physiology, which then allows you to become a physiotherapist after that. So we would always recommend, if you're looking at doing the Bachelor of Science in Exercise Science or the Bachelor of Exercise Science in Rehabilitation, for you to have some grounding in science, particularly in chemistry. So again, these are only recommended subjects, but because there is such a chemistry focus in those degrees, it would be useful for you to do it in year 11 and 12.
Okay, so Jessica's asked, once I've chosen my senior subjects, would there be an opportunity for me to change a subject if I feel that I'm not enjoying it or I'm struggling in a subject? Yes, you can, drop a subject. I'm not sure if you can necessarily pick another one up while you are mid-HSC.
I guess that would be up to your school, but
so.
Generally it doesn't sound like it's possible.
Yeah, not as far as we know.
Okay, so Gianna's asked, can you tell us about the bridging courses and if we change our mind or don't pick the right things? Certainly. So the bridging courses that we offer are in chemistry, biology, physics, and also there's a special maths program that you can do once you're here in university before you start. So they're 2 weeks intensive, and you book them in just before you start. They always start in about February of each year, and classes will start in March. So you attend those if you didn't do those subjects in year 11 and 12 or want to kind of catch up and refresh your memory before you start the degree. In terms of changing your mind if you don't pick the right things, I'm not sure whether or not you mean, Gianna, and you might want to put in another question, whether you mean if you pick the right subjects in year 11 and 12 or whether or not you pick the right things at university. If you don't pick the right subjects in year 11 and 12, I would say go to your careers advisor and also speak to your school first about what options there are for you to change, if any. In terms of picking the right thing at university, probably the best thing to say is don't stress when you get into university. There is a possibility here at UOW to transfer in between courses. So if you start out in a course for one semester and decide it probably isn't what you wanted to do, or you do want to try something else, you can definitely apply to transfer your courses, and we'll look at the marks that you got in your first semester here, and then see if you're allowed to change degrees. So if you don't pick the right thing while you're here at university, there's definitely the option to change. You're definitely able to seek more advice from the faculties on things like this, and their door's always open for you to talk to.
Yeah. Okay, so Edward asked, are we having an open day this year? Yes, absolutely. I think it was the 6th. 16th now, 16th of August. So please come along.
And Brad's asked, I said I was good at maths, but I don't want to become a maths teacher. Any other ideas? I'm thinking engineering, but not sure. Certainly, Brad. So maths, we have a range of degrees that are related to maths. Engineering is definitely one of them. There's a strong maths focus in engineering degrees, and it is recommended if you're doing engineering that you do take advanced mathematics. In terms of what else you can become, we have a Bachelor of Medical Mathematics here at the university, and we also have a Bachelor of Mathematics and Applied Statistics. So, people who do maths degrees go on to become statisticians at banks and in finance industries, and also working for the government, because the government collects a lot of data. And they can also do medical mathematics, which is where you look at mathematics relating to medicine and health, things like population data, but also specifically to the health of individuals. So there's a range of subjects that you can, a range of degrees you can do if you're really good at maths, but don't just want to be a maths teacher. So I would suggest definitely have a look at our Future Finder, and that'll show you what courses you can do if you're good at maths, and also look at our Course Finder online.
Sure. So Emma's also said, when should I start thinking about my UAC preferences? I'm in year 10 now. Should I follow the ATAR results this year, then choose? Yeah, by all means, keep posted on what's happening with the ATAR, in between now and then. With your ATAR preferences, again, we were saying with the University Admission Centre, you apply around September, and then the close of preferences is just after then. You'll have actually a close of preferences for each UAC round, so be sure to look on the UAC website to keep up with their dates so you don't sort of miss out.
We've had another question from Facebook, and it's asking about accommodation. So they say they're from a rural area and they want to know if we have accommodation here at UAW. We definitely do. We have a range of accommodations depending on what your needs are and what you're looking for. We've just opened up a huge new accommodation facility here on campus called Coolabong, which you can look at online. You can go to our accommodation services website and look at all of the different accommodation we have available. We also have Campus East, which is right near the beach, and Rowona, which is in town, and all of our accommodation are accessible by the free bus here in Wollongong, so you can catch public transport from the accommodation we have for students here and straight into the uni. If you're looking at applying for accommodation, we do recommend that you get in early. Applications usually close or open around October, the year before you want to start uni, so definitely get in early and have a look at what you can do.
Okay, so was Gianna, did you want to, you responded to her before, I think.
Oh, so Gianna, yeah, I made a response for you before. Thanks for getting back to us saying you mean picking year 11 and 12 subjects. If you don't pick the right things, I would definitely advise you to go to speak to either your advisors at your school to see what you can do. But just remember, even if you don't pick the right subjects, most of the degrees at university will only have recommended subjects. So if you don't do those recommended subjects because you picked the wrong ones or you've changed your mind about what you want to be when you finish high school, that's perfectly fine. You can do a bridging course if it requires it. So the best thing to do is just try and do your best in the subjects that you do choose, and if you run into any trouble, definitely contact your school.
Okay, another one from Emma. What's the ATAR for environmental engineering? It's 78, again based on the previous year's cutoff. And you also need something to tell your mum about what is environmental engineering exactly. Well, I'd say it's a fairly new degree that we're offering, and essentially, it's to do with, I guess, it involves coastal management and all of that sort of thing across the board in terms of engineering and how that's interacting with the environment. So not just urban and civil engineering, but there would be a much, much greater demand as we go through moving into environmental engineering.
And Emma, I would say if you want more information on environmental engineering, jump onto our Course Finder website, and that's the same for anyone here today who wants information about specific courses. If you go to the UAW homepage, on the front page there you'll see a search engine that says Course Finder next to it. You can just type in environmental engineering and it'll come up with the degree, and it'll have heaps of information about what the degree entails, and then you can also get into contact with us here at Uni Advice from the Course Finder page and ask us any questions you have from the information you read. So we respond to all inquiries within 2 business days, so definitely get into touch with us if you have more questions.
Okay, and Edward's got another question. Where can we look online for info about courses? Darren pretty much covered that just then. On our Course Finder, straight off the homepage, very easy to find.
Excellent. So we have another question from Facebook, and it's in regards to studying journalism and the subjects that you should pick if you do journalism. So like I said, journalism does have a recommendation that you do at least advanced English. There'll be a lot of writing in journalism, so definitely pick advanced English if you can at your school and do as best as you can in that. We offer, if you're looking at journalism, you may also want to look at our Bachelor of Communication and Media Studies, which does offer some journalism related subjects, but more to do with digital media rather than just the traditional journalism.
Yep. Okay, so Liz asked, what is this Future Finder thing and what does the book actually have info on? So basically it's a book that we provide for Year 10 students. It's got all information about the different degrees and also the subjects that you'd be looking to study, as we've been answering so far, based on the degree you wanted to go into. So it's got some information about scaling and that sort of thing, but basically about, you know, the subjects that you're looking to do through year 11 and year 12.
Hi Gianna, so Gianna's
You
asked,
hear
is
it
there
all
a
the
tool
time,
we
but you
can
don't
use to
think
estimate our
that they
ATAR
mean
and
it.
how we're
Life
tracking
goes
at
on after
school?
the HSC.
You don't think your school offers it,
It's
but you're
not
not sure
like
if there's a website
you pick
or
a
something.
career and then you're locked
I would
into
say
it
go
for
and
the
see
rest
your
of
careers
your life. I think
advisor
that's the
and
most
see if they
important
know
thing
have
to
any
realise.
information on how you can calculate your ATAR.
There's
Just
always
keep in mind
someone
that
like you, and I
the
think
ATAR's
when you go
changed
from
from
a
year to
school
year, so
that might
it's
have
definitely, and
500
it's
people
a
or
rank based on
1,000
the people
and then
who
you get
do
to
the HSC
uni
at the
and,
same
you
year
know, there
as
could
you.
be 20,000
So
people
one
coming
person's
and going
ATAR from
throughout
the year
the
before
day,
may not
so
necessarily
nothing
be
but
the same as the
opportunities and
person from the year
options.
after. So if you find any online ATAR
My
calculators,
name's
they may be a
Victoria
bit
Lee.
dubious.
My
So
friends call me
definitely
Tori.
go talk to your careers
I'm
advisor at
from the
school,
Macarthur area.
and they can give
I
you
live
help
in
with
Harrington
understanding the
Park.
ATAR and also any
It
tricks to
takes me
maybe
about an hour
calculating
to
a
get
bit
to
of
uni.
time.
Yep.
I love my car.
So Emily,
It makes me
what
happy
courses
when I
have
get in it.
required subjects?
It's good though because I'm going against the traffic
Actually,
the
none
whole
of our
time.
degrees have prerequisites.
So the
or
University of
required subjects
Wollongong
that you
offers
must
a really
have
good
undertaken
initiative
to be
with
selected
parking,
for.
so
As
it's
long as
3
your
for
ATAR
3.
is competitive, you can be
If I can
selected, and as
coordinate
we've
2 other
mentioned
people to
before,
come with
if you
me,
haven't necessarily
then we
taken
actually get
certain
to park for
subjects
free,
that
and
are
they
needed
reserve a
in
part of the
year
car
11
park
and
that you
year 12,
can
take
get
a short
into.
bridging course before the degrees themselves start. But we do have recommended studies, and that's
The
where
lecturer I just
basically
came
it comes
from,
in. If say you're doing
she got published
physio
last year.
or
It
exercise
was her
science,
second
something to
novel.
do
It
with that,
reminds
we advise
you
that you
how
take chemistry
accomplished they
because
are in their
basically
own
that's going
field,
to
and
be,
that's
you
what
know,
they're trying to
heavily
convey to you. So you've
leaned
got
on
that really
basically
important
once you start your
first-hand
degree.
knowledge.
I
So
guess
it's
in
good to walk
addition to
into a
that,
class
one
and
of the
have
only
someone with the
degrees that
same
have
passion
not a
that you do,
required
driving
subject,
towards
but
the
will
same
change a
area
little
that
bit
you
if you
are.
haven't
And
done
it's just a
something,
daily
is
reminder
the
that this
Bachelor
is
of
why I'm at
Engineering
uni
program.
studying
If
this,
you
so it's
haven't
really
done
exciting to see that on
advanced
a regular
mathematics,
basis.
you do have to take a different maths course
For a
while you
ride,
study.
like you look outside
So you
and
have
there's
to
trees
start
and
with
leaves
kind of a
and
more
wind and
beginner
nature,
level
and I
maths,
mean that's
so
the
that way you can
fundamental
catch
thing
up
that
to
you're
people in
looking
the rest
for.
of the course. So if
The
you're
city
doing
unis are a lot
engineering,
more
we would definitely
hustle and
advise you
bustle
as a
in the
minimum to
transport,
try
there's
out
no car
advanced
park.
mathematics and if you can extension.
Look out the
But
window
if
and
you're
you can
looking
see
about
something nice in
looking
Wollongong.
at which of our courses have subjects that we recommend you take in year 11 and 12, definitely jump onto our Future Finder or to our Course Finder.
Yep, so this looks to be Liz's next question, related to her last one that she asked. Can we download it online? I presume you mean the Year 10 Future Finder? Yes, absolutely. You can get it in PDF off the Year 10 part of the website.
So Edward, what subject should I take for a business degree? I like marketing. Well, that's awesome. So we do offer a Bachelor of Commerce with a major in marketing, and you can also do some marketing related subjects in the Bachelor of Communication and Media Studies. So both of those degrees are a little bit different. If you're looking at marketing, or if you're doing a Bachelor of Commerce with a major in marketing, we would say do something in business studies, because our Bachelor of Commerce degree, you will do in your first year a range of subjects, not just marketing, so you get a good foundation in business and commerce generally before you go on and specialize in marketing. So definitely probably business studies if you're looking at marketing, but also because it requires some creativity, maybe look at some of the other creative subjects that your school offers, like visual arts or photography or something like that.
Yep. Good question from Jamie. What's the difference between my HSC mark and my ATAR exactly? My friend says you can do good in one but not the other. Yes, that can happen. Sometimes students get a little bit shocked once their results come out. That's basically because your HSC mark is a raw mark based on your internal assessments during school and the exams that you do as well. And then basically, as we were explaining before, your ATAR is actually a rank. So that's the difference between them. It's a raw mark as opposed to a rank.
Yeah.
Would you like to take the second part of this?
Sorry, so the second part is you can do good in one but not the other. So it's the case where it'll depend on a range of factors whether you do good in the HSC marks but not particularly as well as you would like in the ATAR. It will matter on the subjects you do. You might have seen that subjects do scale a little bit differently if you came to our event on Tuesday night, or if you've seen the slideshow presentation that we had. It will really just depend on a range of factors, and I guess the best thing to think of it is that your ATAR is a rank, so it matters on which subjects you've done and how you then rank compared to everyone else that sits the HSC at the same time. So that's why there can sometimes be a discrepancy between the two.
Yeah. So, Jamie again, you're good at geography, but there are a few courses that came up in the course finder. Is it essentially the same as in school? Well, more or less, but obviously it's going to build upon that at a tertiary level, so you're going to find that there'll be some more, elasticity and flexibility to study other subjects alongside geography, because you might go physical geography and then also human geography, perhaps, which isn't as covered.
So as Alex said, we do offer two specific geography degrees here at the university. We offer a Bachelor of Science in Physical Geography and a Bachelor of Science in Human Geography. So physical geography might be a little bit more about what you've done at school, if it's particular into weather patterns and different things like that in regards to the physical geography of the land. Human geography relates to people and populations and how they relate to each other. So they're a little bit different, and they may be different to what you've done in geography at school. Definitely search those courses. If you just type in geography, it'll come up with those two here at the university. They're offered through the Faculty of Social Sciences. So check that out. Check out the Faculty of Social Sciences website as well on the UOW website.
Okay, so Jamie again is applying at UOW the same as other unis. Basically, all Year 12 students must apply through the University Admissions Centre. For certain degrees, universities may have slightly different requirements. Sometimes you've got a supplementary application form that you may have to fill out. Always we'd recommend that if you're interested in a certain degree at a certain institution, contact them to make sure that, if this is a requirement for you.
I may just kind of extrapolate a little bit about what you're saying, Jamie. If you're saying about which university you should choose, what I would recommend is have a look at the different universities, go and visit them, go and talk to their faculties, go to their events and see which one speaks to you, see which one will give you the most of what you're looking for, which ones offer a good study-life balance, which one offers you good opportunities. So definitely go to the different universities and have a look, and then you can make your decision about which one you should study at.
Yep. Okay, so Abraham, is there a place where we can see how HSC subjects are or have been scaled relative to each other? No, not really. Again, what Darren was saying about, tracking your ATAR based on your subjects at the moment, there are a lot of websites that sort of purport to cover that, but they might be a little bit, not too reliable. So basically we'd recommend that you check out the Board of Studies website.
And speak to your careers advisor. So we have one from Liz. Liz, when do we apply through UAC in Year 10 or do we wait until Year 12? Liz, you do wait until Year 12. So your careers advisor at school or your school will receive from UAC a personal application ID number and a PIN for you to have. It's good to store those. You'll get those in Year 12. It's usually around the middle of the year. And then applications will close on the last Friday of September. You definitely wait till you're in Year 12 to apply through UAC. You don't need to do anything at this stage.
Okay, so Edward, do all the unis have the same ATARs? Nope. Again, we were saying before that it reflects demand and the popularity of certain degrees at certain unis, so it can differ between them. So again, always recommended to have a look at the UAC website because they do publish the old ATARs for all of the degrees at all the unis.
Hi, and Jamie's asked, do I get bonus points if I live in Campbelltown? Hi Jamie, I went to high school in Campbelltown as well, and you definitely get 3 bonus points if your school's in Campbelltown. If you want to look at that list, you can go to our high school students website, which is on the Future Students page on the UOW website. Go onto that, you can have a look at which schools we do give bonus points to, so definitely have a look, and most schools in Campbelltown can get 3 bonus points.
Yep. Okay, so we've got another...
we're going to take a short break first, so let's take a short break and we'll be right back, okay? Thanks, guys.
My name's Amy Russell and I work at Australian Geographic magazine. I graduated from UOW in 2006. I guess I've always been really keen on adventure and exploration and travelling, and I always really loved to write, and I was pretty obsessed with magazines. Right now I work really closely with the managing editors of Australian Geographic, so I'm really hands-on with planning content, with editing stories, going out and doing my own stories as well, which is what I obviously really love to do. My major was very creative. A lot of what I learned about the art of photography and those types of things, I'm using that now. I understand kind of composition a lot better. I'm yeah, kind of really in the thick of it now, which is exciting. I spent 2 weeks in Kenya in January on a photography safari. I basically travelled around for 2 weeks with a group of really keen photographers. When I first arrived in Nairobi, the day before the safari started, we visited an elephant orphanage. I had an interview with the head keeper, and then he said, okay, I'm going to take you somewhere. And I walk into this clearing and there are baby elephants everywhere, and they're with their keepers, and it was playtime, it was afternoon playtime. So I spent 45 minutes hanging out with these elephants, patting them and climbing all over them, and they were stepping on my toes, and it was absolutely amazing. The job obviously sounds really, really glamorous, and there are times where I just have to pinch myself, but it's a lot of hard work, and I don't say that, flippantly. For that 12 hours during the day, you're trying to think of the story, you're taking as many photos as you can, you're interviewing people. It's exhausting. I would never have forecast that I would have been sitting here and doing this role. For a lot of graduates, Osgeo would be the pinnacle of where they could work, so I'm not sure what's better than this.
Welcome back, guys. So we have another question from guest 361. Does HSE scaling matter? Is it worth for me to attempt advanced mathematics or stick to general? So I guess the answer to that would be to attempt whichever subject you think you'll do and perform the best in. Always pick subjects that you know you're going to perform well in, because it's going to help you out in the long run, and also subjects that you're more interested in, because you'll be more motivated to study for them, and it'll help you in your attempt to reach university. So I would definitely say pick whichever one you think you'll perform best in and attempt that.
Okay, so Liz also asked, do I find out information from my school about the University Admission Centre? Yes, absolutely. As Darren mentioned, when you're in Year 12, around middle of the year, they'll give you your own PIN and everything, and you'll receive plenty of information, and by all means contact your school counsellor as well, the careers advisor, and they'd certainly be able to tell you about it as well.
So we've got one from Pat. Is there a book about finding out what subjects are good? I want to be a journalist. Pat, there definitely is. Go on to the Future Finder. So it's on our Future Students page on the UOW website. You can see a tab up there in the left-hand corner that'll get you to Future Students, and you can go to our Future Finder page. That'll list all the subjects that you should think about doing if you want to be a journalist. It'll have information about journalism as well. So definitely have a look at that.
Okay, so Pat also asked, can you tell me about the difference between the different journalism courses? Again, we run a couple of different kinds. You do have the straight Bachelor of Journalism, which again, the focus is mainly on that. So particularly though, they're looking also at online journalism, because there's basically a shift from traditional forms to online now. So that's quite interesting. And you've also got the Bachelor of Communication and Media Studies, and that has a major in journalism and professional writing. So that one's a little bit more interdisciplinary, and you can take a lot more electives from the arts faculty alongside journalism.
And Pat, we have a great media hub here in our creative arts faculty which takes journalism, and if you wanted to come down and have a look at it, you're more than welcome to. Like I said previously, we run campus tours every Friday, and if you tell us you're interested in journalism, we'll take you up to have a look at that, and maybe on a day you'll come, one of the media classes will be working, and you'll be able to look at it in action.
Yep. So Edward, did we study at UOW? It seems to be a good place to be. Well, yes, we'd certainly agree, and yes, we're both past and previous students.
Yeah, so I studied a Bachelor of Law here and a Bachelor of International Studies at a double degree, and I've only just graduated. And Alex is currently doing her PhD and also did her undergraduate degree here. So it's a great place, and we definitely recommend that if you are thinking about studying here, come and join us. We're having an open day on the 16th of August, or you can come down any Friday if you make a booking online for a campus tour, or you can just walk into the campus. It's open, you can come look at it at any time.
Yep, so Abraham, does the Board of Studies website provide information on how well certain subjects scale? Yes, it absolutely does, but again, the best sort of first point of contact would be your careers advisor at your school.
Yeah, so the Board of Studies website does have some information on scaling, but again, talk to your careers advisor. They'll have more information for you, and they'll be able to point you in the right direction, so they should be your first point of call. So Abraham asked again, what were the ATAR requirements for theatre and performance this year? We'll just have to have a look at that for you. I believe they're around 75, but it does again change from year to year. The Bachelor of Creative Arts The Bachelor of Creative Arts Theatre, most of the Bachelor of Creative Arts subjects, the ATAR cutoff is 75, but with performance you are required to do a performance audition first, so there isn't really an ATAR cutoff, because while they'll look at your ATAR, they'll also look at your portfolio or your performance you give here at university. But if you go onto our course finder and you have a look at both the Bachelor of Creative Arts Theatre and also the Bachelor of Performance, you'll be able to see what the ATAR cutoff was for this year.
Yep, so Liz, if you have more questions after the chat, how can you contact us? We've got so many different ways, depending on, you can contact us by phone, as I mentioned before. We're always here Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, and also on Facebook, via email. You just email uniadvice@uow.edu.au, and we'll get back to you within sort of 2 business days usually.
Yeah, and if you want to contact us on Facebook, it's UOW Future Students. If you look at that, you can see it on there. And Ashley, I guess in conjunction with that, will this live chat be still on the website after this session is finished? It will still be available, but the best way to contact us after this, I guess, would be to send us an email or give us a call on the numbers that Alex has just listed.
Yep, so Jessica's asked, can I do medicine and a law double degree? I know this sounds like a really hard thing, but I'm on track to get a high ATAR. That's absolutely brilliant, and that's very, very ambitious, so that's great to see. Again, medicine here at UOW is a graduate program, so as Darren was mentioning earlier, you'd need to first complete an undergraduate degree. So by all means, you could certainly do a law degree, and if you decided down the track you'd like to do medicine, you could do that as a postgraduate student.
Yes, so our Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery, like I said before, that degree requires you to have an undergraduate degree first, like Alex just mentioned, and it can be in anything. It doesn't have to be in science, it doesn't have to be in medical science, it doesn't have to be even nursing. You could do an undergraduate degree in law, and provided you got a GPA above 5 and then followed the other application processes, you can more than welcome to apply for a Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery degree.
Yep. So Edward's asked, can I do a campus tour? Yes, again, we run them every Friday except public holidays, either at 10 a.m. or 3 p.m. So you can just book in for our upcoming events page.
Hi Liz, so Liz has asked, what subject should I pick for a history degree? So this may be a bit surprising, but you should pick Advanced English first and foremost over the history subjects, just because if you do a Bachelor of Arts in History here at the university, there'll be a lot of essay writing, there'll be a lot of reading of material, so the best way you can get a head start on that is to do Advanced English. That'll give you the skills you need. I would then suggest that you do subjects like Ancient History and Modern History, and you can also do an Extension History subject as well. But definitely try that Advanced English too, but the history subjects that your school will offer, if they offer any, will definitely be useful as well.
Yep, so we've also had a Facebook question. Can we email you questions after the live chat? Yes, absolutely. Again, the address is uniadvice@uow.edu.au.
So did we answer Edward's question? Can I do a campus tour? No. So Edward, you can definitely do a campus tour. They're run on every Friday at 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. and you just book online. If you go to our Future Students webpage, there's an events section and you can book there. They run every Friday, including during the school holidays, just not on public holidays. So you can't do one next Friday or the Friday after because of Good Friday and Anzac Day, but you can definitely do ones after that.
Yep, so another question from Pat. Thanks for the info on journalism. You have a blog. Can you use that as a part of a portfolio? Again, as we were saying before, yes, you absolutely can use that as part of a portfolio to submit to UOW. We'd love to see it.
Hi, Guest 361. What tips do you have for Year 10 students entering Year 11 and 12 to do in order to achieve the highest marks they can in their subjects? My tip would be to pick the subjects that you're interested in. You're more likely to do well if you are taking subjects that you actually have an interest in, and then when you go to study them, you actually want to study them. I would also suggest just making sure you're good at time management. That'll help you out with organising everything and achieving your best when you exams roll around. And also just study hard and put in the hard work for those 2 years, and they'll definitely pay off when you're ready to come to university.
Okay, so Pat's asked, can I submit my portfolio to help get into journalism? Again, you're coming through the UAC process, so you're selected on the basis of ATAR, but you're more than welcome to provide portfolio material if you'd like as part of your application.
And Edward's asked, thanks, do you do modern history and ancient at uni like we do in school? Yes and no. So if the history subjects here at university are a little bit different, and if anything, they're more like your extension history class is going to be in terms of the content they cover. So I did extension history in high school, and I've also done a few history subjects here under my Bachelor of International Studies degree. It's not really too much like ancient history and modern history. There are some subjects to do with the ancient world and the modern world. There are a lot more subjects to do with modern history, I guess, here at our university, but there are definitely some ancient history subjects, but they're more about the study of history, so historiography, than they are just learning about facts and things like that, like you might do at school. So if you do have an interest at studying history here at university, I'd definitely have a look if your school offers extension history, and talk to the history staff members at your school, because that's kind of more closely related to what you'll do here at university if you study history.
Yep. Okay, so guest 361 has also asked, to what degree do unis appreciate extracurricular like mock trial, MUNA, Duke of Ed in a uni application? Again, you're selected as part of your ATAR, but of course, I mean, it's brilliant to be involved in as many different things.
We also do, you have the capacity to tell us that information if you apply for our early admission program. So we offer an early admission program here at the University of Wollongong where you can apply to university before you sit your exams and know if you're going to get in prior to sitting your actual HSC exams. In that, the way it's been done in previous years, we enable you to tell us about the extracurricular activities you're doing as a part of your application, and then we'll also look at your trial HSC marks and your 11 preliminary results. So there is definitely some capacity to let us know that, but if you're applying through UAC, because it's the University Admission Centre that you're applying through, they won't look at things like a mock trial or Duke of Edinburgh.
Yep, so Caitlin's asked, is there any way I can get into a course if my ATAR is only slightly below the cutoff? Potentially. That's usually where bonus points come into play. So if you're just shy of the advertised cutoff, sometimes the bonus points might get you over the line and make you competitive enough to get an offer for that course.
Awesome. So Edward said, my mum really wants me to do advanced English, but I'm not sure if I'll be good at it. What do you think? I would say go and speak to the person who's in charge of English at your school and talk to them about it, what they're going to cover in the subjects, and whether or not they think you have the skills that will push you there, or what you can do so that if you do that subject, you can perform to the best of your abilities. So if you're worried about a subject you might take in year 11 and 12, go and talk to the coordinators at your school. I'm sure they'll be happy if you show interest in their subject, so definitely give a word to them.
Yep, so Liz asked, can we come and talk to someone at UOW in person about any tricky questions? Absolutely, you can come in and see anyone like Darren or myself, again Monday to Friday 9 to 5. We're on the main Wollongong campus in building 36.
And Pat asked, is early admission hard? I would say it's not particularly hard. We try and make you feel as comfortable as possible here while you're applying to it. We'll look at your preliminary results that you achieved at the end of your year 11 exams. We'll look at your trial HSC results, and then we'll also ask you along to an interview. But that interview is really for the faculty to just talk to you, get to know you and see what you're interested in. So I wouldn't stress too much about the early admission process if you're planning on applying, and I definitely encourage everyone to apply for our early admission program. And I would just say that have a bit of fun, try your best, and talk to the people at university and show that you're passionate about studying here.
So Edward, do you apply for early admission in year 10 or year 11? It's great that you'd be excited enough to apply in year 10, but you definitely apply once you're completing your HSC. I just want to say we're up to the last couple of minutes now, so if you have any questions, get them in now so that we can answer them for you. But here's one from Pat. So does it really mean I can get in without an ATAR? No, it doesn't. So you still need to get an ATAR in order to get in through early admission. It just means that you'll know whether or not you're going to get into university before you sit your exams. You still need to sit those exams, you still need to receive an ATAR, but you will kind of take the stress off your exams by knowing if you're getting a place at university. Okay, was there any other last minute questions before we sign off? So I guess we'll end it maybe with some advice. So our advice would be, if you're in year 10 and you're looking at studying at university in the future, definitely pick the subjects that you're passionate about. You may not want to know what you want to do at university yet. You may not want to know what career you want to do. That's perfectly fine. Just remember, a lot of the subjects are only recommended so that you can do bridging courses in the future if you do change your mind and you didn't do chemistry and now you want to do a Bachelor of Science in Chemistry. That's totally fine. So just pick the subjects you're interested in and you know you perform best at, and that'll give you the best chance to get ahead in the HSC.
All right, well, that's awesome, guys. If you want to get into contact with us, like we said, you can email us at uow.edu.au. You can give us a call at 1300 for UOW, so FOR UOW, and contact us on Facebook as well. But in the meantime, check out the Future Finder website for more information. See you later, guys.
Get a group of us together and we'll start the walk nice and early in the morning. Once we get to the top, it's just a really good feeling to watch the sunrise and just talk about life. The view's just absolutely amazing. The beach, all the different houses, the university. Watching all that happen, it kind of gives you a perspective of everything, of how the world works.
Degrees definitely not a piece of paper, it's a whole experience. Obviously educational aspects and just really setting you up for life. Allowing you to meet a variety of people, really pushing your limits, boundaries, and pushing your perspectives and what you think about the world.
I'm developing a ocean-faring vessel wave-induced energy conversion device. It will store the energy of the boat as it rolls along a wave.
We've been fortunate at the University of Wollongong to be able to build a research group with global credibility. What's brought them here are these incredible world-class facilities that we've created over the last few years. We have the ability in this integrated research facility to undertake very fundamental research and new discoveries. We've developed three-dimensional printers that can extrude and create three-dimensional scaffolds. We've even developed inks that will facilitate the printing of living cells for use in the muscle and nerve regeneration programs.
It's made me more equipped when I go out into real life. You actually know what's going on, you know how things work now, you know what's about to come at you. You're not going to just be put in the deep end.
I've seen it happen so many times, hundreds of times in my 20-odd years, and I never get bored watching that exciting process, seeing young people transform themselves into individuals that are really willing to take on big challenges, and they're capable of doing it.
It's pushed my limits in terms of the way I perceive things. In classes we do group work, and you hear so many different viewpoints, and you go, oh, okay, it's really interesting. And I would never have thought like that. And it just really pushes you to become a lot more open-minded.
We're doing things here at UOW that are changing the world. So don't think that you can't change the world. But that requires a lot of hard work. It requires passion, and it requires commitment. And it requires that passion and commitment sometimes over very sustained periods. So you must be a very determined person with that passion and commitment, and you can make a difference.